Internet of Things is actually not new. It was there, at least in Hollywood. So how did we come from fixed telephony to the Internet of Things? So the pre-internet age, we only had these wired telephones or SMS. Then the internet came in, and then email was a very big thing. People were really excited about email, and then information and entertainment came in. Then e-commerce, e-productivity, finally, then social media became very popular as time went on. I still remember there was Orkut at one time, but then Facebook kicked in and everything changed. So now we are in the era of where machines are talking to other machines. So if you look at one end of this figure, you're seeing that humans are talking to each other, and at the other end, there are only machines talking to each other. So that's the basic thing that's the basic idea of Internet of Things. So things are talking to each other. Okay, so now what makes up a thing in the Internet of Things? So these are some basic characteristics that the things in the Internet of Things have. So normally we would call them headless devices, because with the Internet of Things, or with the thing, we have a physical object which is connected to the internet, which can communicate information and has some level of intelligence. So there's no operator who's operating the device, in this case the IoT device, the Internet of Things device. So normally we call it headless devices, and these are the three main characteristics of IoT devices. Okay, so now in simple terms, any physical object that can be controlled through internet connectivity and collects and shares data, we call it a thing in the Internet of Things. Okay, so this can be a light bulb that can be switched on or off using a smartphone. So there are many light bulbs like this in the market nowadays. You have smart thermostats which would look at the temperature and then adjust, or even look at the people in a room and then adjust the thermostat accordingly. So if there's no one in the room, it would just turn off the aircon or something like that. So IoT devices, one of the characteristics again is that they can range from a simple sensor, which is just sensing temperature, to children toys, or to something really big, such as a driverless truck. Now, this doesn't mean that a driverless truck is an IoT device. It can be considered an IoT device, but it also is composed of other IoT devices. So you might have other systems inside the truck which are, sensing the speed, the acceleration, the direction, and other things. So for safety and security, you might have IoT devices itself. So an IoT might be composed of other IoTs. So that's the idea here. So smart cities is one of the examples. So IoT has penetrated many application areas over the last decade, especially. You have industrial IoT, so most of you would have heard the name Industry 4.0. So it's mostly about transforming the industrial or manufacturing domain using IoT. Then you have the Internet of Medical Things. So I'm going to give you examples of some of these in a moment. This over here, I just wanted to give you a brief idea that it's penetrated in many domains. So Internet of Medical Things, then you have the Internet of Vehicles, where the vehicles are talking to each other. So you can see that these are physical objects and they're talking to each other, okay? And then you have the Internet of Military Things. So this might be new to some, but I'll show you some examples which IoT has been used in military. Then we have the smart homes, where you have smart thermostats, smart bulbs, the washing machine is talking, and a lot of physical objects that previously were not connected to the internet are now connected to the internet. Then finally, one of the areas which is really gaining a lot of popularity is agricultural IoT. where and I'll give you some examples shortly. Okay, so so this over here you can see the penetration of IoT into various domains, and you can see that the penetration is quite significant. Like if we look at the manufacturing or industrial domain, it's already penetrated about 22% and it's going up. So this is quite significant. And you can see that it's penetrating in almost all the domains, all of the major industries we have, like retail, energy, healthcare, supply chain, agriculture. So, and this should give you an idea how important IoT is becoming for us in the near future. Uh, so, and then if you look at the forecast for the number of IoTs, devices, we see that by 2025, the IoT devices are more than the non-IoT devices. Okay? So this gives you an idea that IoT devices are increasing at an exponential pace. And we are expected to see like almost 50 billion devices by 2025, which is a very huge number, and which should, you should imagine if this many IoT devices are there, our social dependence on IoT would be quite significant as well.